Hey guys, Rob Heldon here. Welcome to another episode of Telco Tips. Episode 5, I believe we're up to. And this one's all around mobile contracts and is there a best time to sign a new mobile contract? And the reality is the answer is yes, but most people don't even think about it. And it's something that once you understand the thought process behind it and why there is absolutely a best time to sign a mobile contract, it will help you with a whole heap of other areas in your life that you just didn't even think about, right? But when is it? Is it the start of the month, the middle of the month, the end? When is that best time to sign a contract? Now, what I say to people is you need to understand the intent of the telco company that you're dealing with and the salesperson. And once you get inside their head a little bit, then you'll understand what time is going to be best for you to sign that contract. And you'll understand why that is, and you'll be able to use that to your advantage to get yourself a better deal. So look, the reality is that the best time to sign a contract, whether it's a phone system or a mobile contract, mobiles are typically the easiest one here because it's more of a focal point for a lot of people. Now, the first thing you need to understand is salespeople will work off of a monthly target, right? Now, I've been there. I was a salesperson for 20 odd years, right? I've been there. I understand the sales targets. They're a monthly target. They may have quarterly and annual targets and everything in place as well, but typically a salesperson's focus is their monthly target, all right? And there's two reasons for that. Number one, if you don't hit your target, you get to have that conversation with the sales manager about why you missed your target, right? Nobody wants to have that conversation in a sales position, okay? And number two, quite frankly, you don't get paid your commissions and your bonuses and what have you, okay? Now, the second thing that you need to understand about this is that 99% of salespeople, myself included, many times, don't actually hit their sales target until the last couple of days of the month. Now, the reason for that is you kind of get complacent and what have you as a salesperson. You're going through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the month and you've got loads of stuff in your pipeline and you're looking, there's 2 or 3 deals and I'm certain they're going to come through. And then you get to the end of the month and you get maybe one of the deals will come through, maybe 1 or 2 of them will fall over, and you have that oh shit moment where you've gone, okay, I was so sure those things were coming through, but now you're looking down the barrel of missing your targets for the month, and it's not a very nice place to be. I've been there many times, and I'm quite certain every salesperson out there has as well. So, but that's what you get into, and then your whole focus switches, and it becomes about what have I got to do to hit my sales target in the shortest possible time, because you've only got sort of 2 or 3 days left by that point most times to actually get there. So what do? As a salesperson, you scrap for sales, right? You'll call your existing clients and you'll try and get them to take on an extra service, whether they need it or not. You'll try and convince them that they need it, right? You'll start using voice SIMs as data plans because the amount of data that they include in the voice plans these days, the networks, you can kind of use those as data SIMs, but voice SIMs will go towards your target and carry more weighting towards your target than what data SIMs. So you'll typically do that. And you'll run around and you'll try whatever I've got to do to close this deal. You run to your sales manager for help and say, look, I need help closing this deal. I need some extra credits. And that's what you want to hear. That's exactly what you want. So that's when you can take advantage of the situation. This is the mindset that salespeople are in at the end of the month is, what have I got to do to hit my target? I need to do whatever it takes to hit that target, right? Now, quick disclaimer on this one, it does work a lot better when you're switching carriers. So if you're going from Telco to Optus, for example, it will work a lot better than if you were going Optus to Optus. It does still work, but it works much better when you're moving carriers, because all of these salespeople, or the majority of them anyway, will have a sales target that's based on new acquisition. So, while they say, look, we care about our existing clients, all they're focused on from a sales point of view is bringing on new business. Okay, so if you're moving carriers, this does work a lot better, but you can still use it if you're staying with the same carrier, right? So now that you understand the mindset and of the salespeople in these telco companies, how do you actually use that to your advantage? Now, this is what I typically do with my clients, and half of them don't even realize I'm doing it because I do this in the background with the networks without them even knowing. But typically what I do and what I suggest that you do if you're looking at this yourself is you can start the conversation at the start of the month, right? Because the salespeople at that stage, they're wanting to build up their pipeline report. They're wanting to get as many deals into the system. And in their mind, a lot of the people they speak to at the start of the month, yeah, okay, I'll close it by the end of the month. They're pretty bullish about it, pretty confident. So don't be afraid to start the conversation at the start of the month. But typically what I do with them is, and I'll say to the networks when I'm speaking to them, look, the client's got a project that they're working on at the moment, and most of the time this is actually the case. So, they've got a project they're working on at the moment. The reality is it's going to take them, their focus for the next couple of weeks. It is something that we're interested in, but the reality is it's probably going to be something that we'll explore later in the second half of the last week of the month, right? And at that stage, the networks or the salespeople are still going to be pretty happy with that, because they're still looking at, okay, yes, it's going to be a deal for this month. And then you get to the last week of the month, and that's when you'll start receiving the phone calls, how are we going? Are we looking at still going ahead? And that's when you actually use that to your advantage, and you can start to negotiate with them. And basically what I do and what I suggest people do with this is say to them, look, definitely very interested. It looks like a great offer, but look, you've offered me, say, as an example, 2 months free that you've offered me. Now, I'm happy to look at moving forward and happy to do it this week, but I need that to be 4 months. And this is where you can start to push them and push the envelope a little bit and start that negotiation process. Now, 2 things are typically going to happen when you do this. Number one is they'll come back to you and say, look, I can't get you 2 months, like an additional 2 months. I can only get you 1. Now, at that point, it's kind of up to you how bullish you want to be about this. If you want to, play hardball and say, well, look, if you can't get me the extra 2 months, I'm not doing it. Or you say, okay, look, I'm happy with that. We'll go with the 3 months free and we move forward. Either way, you've gotten yourself a better deal, right? You're going to be in a position where either you're going to push them for that 4th month, and a lot of the time it will come through. But worst case, you've gotten yourself an extra month free. Now, if you've got 10 services, it's probably worth $500 to you. If you've got 20, it's probably worth $1,000. And you kind of work off that $50, $60 average, right? So that worst case scenario, if you've got that 20 services, you may have just saved yourself $1,000 just by knowing how to play the game, right? Now, it's almost never happens where they'll come back to you and say, look, I just can't do it. I can't get the credits. There's 2 ways of looking at it. If they're struggling to hit their target, they will do whatever they need to do it. The flip side of that, and I've had this conversation previously, is, well, what happens if we've already hit our target, or the salesperson's already hit their target by the middle of the month? Then what are you going to do? Wait another month? No. What I say to you then is you're actually even better position almost with that, because what will happen is once they've hit their target, now they're into commission range, and now they're into bonus range. So the more sales that they get through by the end of that month, they're guaranteed to get commission for those sales. Whereas if they wait and, sandbag and wait and push you into next month, it gives them a head start on next month's target, but they've actually got no guarantee that they're going to hit their target. So they're more likely to try and push as much as they can through this month while they've got that commission guaranteed and in place. So again, it's just something to think about when you're looking at this, when you're looking at signing a new contract with your mobile carrier. And as I say, particularly if you're looking at moving carriers, it's a very powerful tool and it will help you a long way. And you can actually use this. I've used it myself. The last time, my car's 6 years old now, right? But when I bought that car, I used this tactic. Now, the deal that I had with the car company that I bought through, the deal that I got on the 31st of the month was actually $2,500 better than the deal that we had spoken about on the 29th, right? And it was because I got the phone call 9 o'clock on the 31st saying, look, are you coming in to sign the paperwork today? And I said, look, I may not be able to get there today. I'm just working on this item at the moment, but look, worst case, I'll be there tomorrow. Knowing in the back of my mind that he wanted to hit his sales target for this month, right? I get a call back 10 minutes later. Look, Mr. Heldorn, if you can come in today, we'll knock another $10 a week off the price. Perfect. Over 5 years, that's $2,500. Just from knowing how to play the game. So whether it's buying a car or buying a mobile phone or, a fridge or a TV or whatever, my suggestion is just try it. As long as you can hold it. If your fridge blows up and you need a new fridge, you need a new fridge, right? But, if you can wait till the end of the month, my suggestion is to wait till the end of the month. And as I say, it's something I do with my clients half the time without them even knowing. But it's something that you can do to actually get yourself a better deal and take advantage of a situation by understanding what your salesperson's focus is rather than, them worrying about what your focus is. You're essentially kind of flipping the script on them and using their target against them to get yourself a better deal. So look, that's essentially all I wanted to run through with this. I'm sure it's probably going to cause a few comments, good and bad. But look, if you do have any comments on it, please leave those below. If there's any questions or any topics that you do want me to cover off on future videos, please add that in as well, and I'll certainly check that out and look to feature your topics in future videos. So otherwise, this will be going up at 6 o'clock Perth time on every Tuesday night. So if you hit the subscribe button, that will make sure that you're going to get all of the access to all of these videos. If you hit the little bell, you'll actually get a notification every time a video goes up. And there will be other videos throughout the month. I'll be doing a Q&A on the last business day of the month, and all of that sort of thing. So certainly this channel's here for your participation. I want to bring you content that that you're actually interested in, and make sure that you're getting the most amount of value out of this channel. So certainly look forward to your feedback. Otherwise, have a great week and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Cheers.